Imagine standing on the surface of the moon. No wind, no sound, just ancient grey dust stretching to a horizon so close you feel like you could reach out and touch the edge of the world. Then in the distance you see it, a shape, angular, dark, vertical, something that has absolutely no right to be there. That image did not come from science fiction, it came from real lunar data, real rovers, and the documented work of scientists who have spent decades trying to explain what they found up there. The moon is not the simple, dead rock most people assume. It is a world layered with anomalies, strange gravity signatures, buried metal deposits, and objects that have made even seasoned researchers pause and quietly ask, what exactly is that? For most of human history, we looked at the moon and saw a familiar face. We named its dark plains seas even though no water ever touched them. We wove it into mythology, navigation, and the measurement of time. It was not until the space age that we began to look closer and realize the moon was hiding things. The Apollo missions between 1969 and 1972 fundamentally changed our picture of this world. 12 human beings walked its surface, collected nearly 300 EC2 kilograms of rock, and planted instruments still sending data back to Earth today. Yet for every question answered, several more appeared. It was during the robotic era that the word monolith first entered the scientific record in a lunar context. On February 13, 1973, the Soviet rover Lunokhod 2, rolling across the floor of Monnier crater, made a discovery that briefly stopped its mission team cold. NASA reported the finding plainly. A monolith 1 meter long, composed of unusual lunar material, had been found. The object had a strong, smooth surface, unlike the surrounding pockmarked stones, and appeared to be much younger than the terrain around it. Read that again slowly. A smooth, clearly distinct object sitting alone on a landscape shaped by billions of years of impacts, not rounded by rivers, not carved by wind. The moon has none of those forces. So how did it get that way? Scientists offered the most likely answer. The object was almost certainly material ejected from deep inside the moon by a major impact, thrust upward from the interior and polished by the violent pressures of its own origin story. That is a perfectly reasonable geological explanation, and almost certainly the correct one. But it illustrates a pattern that repeats constantly across lunar science. You find something strange, you investigate, you find a natural answer, and then you realize the natural answer is itself extraordinary. That explanation tells us something important. The interior of the moon holds materials fundamentally different from its surface. The moon, once imagined as a uniform grey ball, is a stratified world with a distinct crust, mantle, and core. Sometimes the deep interior surfaces in dramatic, unexpected ways. The question of anomalous lunar objects gained renewed attention in 2009, when NASA launched the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. This spacecraft was designed to map the moon in unprecedented detail, resolving objects as small as half a meter across from an orbit just 50 kilometers above the surface. What LRO returned was a catalogue of wonders: enormous lava tubes wide enough to shelter a small city, ancient volcanic plains frozen mid-flow into glass, collapse pits plunging into subterranean darkness with no visible bottom, and boulders, countless boulders, some casting shadows with a geometric regularity that caught the eye immediately. On an airless world with no atmospheric scattering, shadows are razor-sharp and informative. Certain boulders cast shadows consistent with tall, vertically oriented forms. To untrained eyes, some of the geometry seemed almost deliberate. Researchers drew comparisons to the Phobos monolith, a boulder approximately 85 meters across and 90 meters tall near Stickney crater on Mars's moon Phobos. That structure was confirmed by imaging specialists including Lan Fleming, a contractor at NASA's Johnson Space Center, and later classified as natural impact ejecta. The comparison matters because it reveals how easily the human mind imposes meaning on natural geometry. Our brains evolved to detect patterns. Right angles in nature once signaled predators or shelter, but space does not operate by those survival instincts. Still, the scientific community did not simply dismiss anomalous lunar features. In a peer-reviewed analysis, researchers examined Apollo 15 and LRO imagery of the crater Paracelsus C on the far side of the Moon. They identified structural features unlike any previously catalogued lunar formation. The authors were careful. They labeled their findings as candidates for further investigation, not confirmed structures. That is how science works on the frontier. You observe, document, hypothesize, and flag for follow-up. The far side of the Moon remained completely unseen by human eyes until the Soviet Luna 3 probe photographed it in 1959. Its terrain differs strikingly from the near side, more heavily cratered, with thicker crust and almost no volcanic plains. But it was the South Pole-Aitken basin on the far side that delivered perhaps the Moon's most astonishing modern discovery. This is the largest confirmed impact crater in the entire solar system, stretching 2,500 kilometers across and plunging 13 kilometers deep. Scientists knew it was enormous. What they did not know was what was hiding beneath it. In 2019, Dr. Peter James of Baylor University published findings combining data from NASA's GRAIL mission with topographic data from LRO. Hidden beneath the basin floor was a mass concentration so immense that it was measurably bending the Moon's gravitational field. Dr. James described the scale with an image that is hard to forget. Imagine taking a pile of metal 5 times larger than the big island of Hawaii and burying it underground. That is roughly how much unexpected mass his team detected below the South Pole-Aitken basin. The weight of that buried material is so enormous, it is pushing the basin floor downward by more than half a mile. The Moon's own surface is being physically deformed by something hidden deep beneath it. The leading scientific explanation is that the metallic core of the impacting asteroid did not fully vaporize on collision. Under specific conditions of angle and interior temperature, the iron-nickel core dispersed into the upper lunar mantle and locked in place as the Moon cooled. This conclusion is not speculation. It is grounded in computer simulations of large-scale asteroid impacts and confirmed by the gravity data from GRAIL's twin spacecraft, named Ebb and Flow, which completed their mission in 2012. The GRAIL mission also revealed another strange feature: mascons, short for mass concentrations. These are zones of unusually dense material beneath old impact basins, completely invisible at the surface, but powerful enough to warp the lunar gravity field in measurable ways. Early NASA spacecraft were affected by mascons before their existence was understood. Lunar orbiters would shift trajectory with no apparent cause. Engineers scrambled to correct course, unaware that a hidden mass buried miles underground was quietly nudging their spacecraft off its path. Now here is where the narrative shifts in a direction even serious scientists find genuinely fascinating. The word monolith carries enormous cultural weight, and Arthur C. Clarke did not conjure that image from nowhere. Clarke was influenced by real scientific conversations. In 1963, Carl Sagan and colleague Iosif Shklovsky published work arguing that if extraterrestrial intelligence existed, evidence might appear not in radio signals, but in physical objects placed within our solar system. Sagan did not claim such objects existed. He argued the search was scientifically legitimate. That distinction is everything. One of the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century said, "We should look," not because he believed we would find something, but because refusing to look was intellectually indefensible. In 2010, researchers Paul Davies and Robert Wagner at Arizona State University published a paper in the journal Acta Astronautica proposing that LRO imagery be systematically searched for unusual features. Their reasoning was methodologically sound. The data already exists. The search cost is low. The potential significance of a discovery would be among the most important in human history. Their paper was not a declaration of belief in alien visitors. It was a call for scientific due diligence. Flag the unusual, investigate before dismissing. That is not fringe thinking. That is the scientific method applied with intellectual honesty. And here is the twist that reframes everything you have heard in this video. The most profound monolith on the Moon may not be any physical object. It may be the Moon itself. Our Moon is statistically unusual. It is extraordinarily large relative to Earth compared to any moon orbiting a rocky planet in the solar system. It sits at almost exactly the right distance to produce geometrically perfect solar eclipses. These coincidences accumulate in ways scientists genuinely find striking. More critically, the Moon stabilizes Earth's axial tilt. Without it, our axis could wobble wildly over millennia, producing climate extremes potentially hostile to the complex life that evolved here. Our Moon is, in the most literal scientific sense, a reason you exist. So when we ask whether there are monoliths on the Moon, science gives a layered answer. There are rocks of unusual smoothness found by Soviet rovers. There are masses buried so deep they deform the surface above them. There are gravity anomalies that once redirected spacecraft. There are features in far-side craters that resist easy classification. And then there is the Moon itself, improbable, irreplaceable, watching. None of this requires a mysterious civilization to explain. All of it is real, documented, and extraordinary on its own terms. The universe does not need to be stranger than it is to deserve our full and reverent attention. We are now living in the era of NASA's Artemis program, preparing to return humans to the Moon and establish a sustained presence near the South Pole, precisely where the buried mass beneath the South Pole-Aitken basin sits waiting. The answers found there may resolve old debates or open entirely new ones. Science does not promise comfortable endings. It promises honest ones. And on a world that has watched over us for 4.5 billion years, there is no shortage of honest questions still waiting. If this journey into the Moon's mysteries left you wanting more, share it with someone who still thinks the Moon is just a quiet rock in the sky. Tell us in the comments which lunar mystery captures your imagination most. Subscribe and join us every week as we go deeper into the cosmos, one question at a time. The Moon is up there right now, still watching, still full of secrets we have not yet found the instruments or the courage to reach.